G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Heavyjet Revolver. It's a big revolver that shoots gyrojets, and that's kind of it. What is a gyrojet? It's like a little rocket projectile, kind of like your Torg guns from Borderlands. I know Borderlands is massively uncool now, but we are channeling a little bit of Mr. Torg in this thing, which I think is kind of cool. There's some customization options, uses the vanilla game animations, which work fine. The recoil animations are pretty heavy though, so follow-up shots, while they're possible, might be a little bit more difficult with the camera jolting up every time we fire this thing. But that's okay, because we've got a little bit of power behind this. Even with its standard receiver, we're getting 1800 DPS, which is pretty nice, but let's improve that with the advanced receiver, giving us almost 4000 DPS and an improved fire rate as well, which is nice. We've also got this thing weighing in at 7.1 pounds, which is pretty good if you've got a survival mode playthrough and you need some heavy firepower without a whole lot of weight. Then this is a pretty good option. You can increase the recoil control by adding these into the barrel. That's neat. And you can give it a grip, including a wire stock or a frogman stock, which that looks like an upside down Chinese assault rifle stock. That's pretty neat. The doesn't really meld well into the revolver itself, but you're never going to see that in first person, so sure, that's fine. That'll help us control the recoil, so I don't see why we shouldn't do that. And you can change what kind of gyrojets this fires, so you can have the Heavyjet, so this one will increase your damage, but your projectiles will be much slower, so good at close range, but not too close, otherwise you'll blow yourself up, but will increase your DPS to 6200 according to this, which is pretty crazy. And then Boomjet, reduced projectile speed explosive jet. Interesting. So this one appears to be the strongest per gyrojet, but maybe this one is going to be better all round, slightly faster, but very much more explosive. We'll experiment with all of these. We'll just leave this on a standard gyrojet for now. And you've got a bunch of sights you can put on this. You've got standard sights, just the irons that you see right now. That looks pretty cool. You've also got an option for a short scope. If you're using a slow projectile, it's going to be a lot less useful. Options for a laser sight. If you don't want to aim down sights at all, you just aim off a little point in the middle of the screen, which would be there. A reflex sight, same as the vanilla game 44 Magnum. And there's options for a Recon scope as well. Let's throw that one on, because this is going to be sniper version of Gyrojet Revolver. Anyways, that's pretty much the gist of the modifications. Check out this armor. It's like Exo 2 power armor, but in light armor. This is Enclave Recon armor. Very nice. I'll quickly go over this because I think it's really cool, and, you know, Tammie's Enclave associated, so why not? So this is the helmet that you get with it. You get a bunch of modifications. All of these have the same thing as combat armor, and you've also got a legendary slot, but you can do a lot with this thing. You can have rebreathers, visors for perception. There's Argus binoculars, Hunter optics, Recon optics. One of these reduces your AP cost, but it adds a big gigantic thing on the front, and it just sort of takes away from the aesthetic of the thing that I've got right now. The one I've got gives it the nice little devil horn ears that you see on the Enclave troopers in vanilla game Fallout 3 before they move on to the Hellfire things. This one looks very much like a Hellfire thing, but with this hooded comms antenna, it looks like with the spikes. I like that. It's cool. The proportions are a little bit odd, but you get used to it after a while. Here's left arm. I've got the stabilized mod. Not that it's going to be that helpful. When we're aiming down a scope, it will be, but there's also options for Pauldron. Tesla will make you do more energy damage, but we don't have any energy in our weapon, so we'll just leave that. And Remnants gives you a bit of a cloth because, you know, it's an Enclave Remnant. He's been on the run. He hasn't been able to maintain his armor properly, so he's sort of looking like Megatron in Dark of the Moon when he's in Africa, just covered in rags. And next, we'll look at the torso. So this one, I've got dense powered polymer again. This has got the light Pamu pack on it, which is just a backpack. There's also options for a stealth version of that, and also a Tesla version. Note the weight on this thing. That's heavy. So the light one, even the light one, is at almost 70 pounds worth of armor, which is... that's a lot. That's way more, I believe, than what you get from your standard marine armor from even Far Harbor. I've also got an Enclave, the Robco jetpack for good measure, because what's Enclaves without jetpacks? Come on. And it makes sense. Anyways, I've got the Sprinters mods on the legs and just made them ultra light because extra AP. And the necklace. here's a little bit of lore for you, right? A little bit of inside knowledge. So, since Tammie and Matilda are sisters, one of them carries the wedding ring of the father, and the other one carries the wedding ring of the mother. That's how they know. That's how they know they're sisters, right? They've given the keepsakes. Just in case they find synths versions of themselves or each other, they can check whether they have the proper wedding ring, and if they don't, then it's a synth. You can craft your Heavyjet Revolver at a chemistry workbench under the depth subfolder, and all you need is 800 bottle caps to do it. It also drops on raiders, trappers, gunners, and the like at level 25. So it's injected onto level this, but you won't find it in stores. So if you want to find it out in the wild more organically, because you don't have to explain why raiders are carrying it, they just have it, then that'll be easy. So we'll just craft 3 of these so we can experience all 3 different types of ammunition. There's a unique version of the Gyrojet Revolver, but it is located far, far south. This far. That's the edge of the map right there, and there's Spectacle Island. So, yeah, bring your togs, because you're in for a bit of a swim here. But once you find this place, it's a boat. You'll see what is sure to be a Jaws reference, of course. He comes with a bit of gold. There's a bit of reclaimed metal. You can sell that. Even more gold. Sea Captain's hat. And there's also Stimpaks, some Gyrojet rounds, Stubbs diving suit. You can breathe underwater with that thing. That's pretty neat. And, of course, Scrimshaw does more damage against sea creatures. All of those sea creatures that you'll find, it's just Mileworks, I suppose, but yeah, lots more damage against them, so that's cool. Probably won't be using that thing, but that's cool. Extra damage against Mileworks. If you're really struggling with like a Milework clean or something, just whip Scrimshaw out and off you go. Also, my jetpacks won't turn off. I made them green. Also, to get the ammo, it's injected onto the level this. You can't craft the ammo. You can craft the weapon, but not the ammo. So look out. It'll be in containers, and you might find it in shops, but it would be a little bit more scarce. So that's probably the balancing point for this mod. Alright, welcome back at Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our Gyrojet Revolver in first person, all of its glory with its Recon scope. You notice the scope sway is basically nothing when I crouch down with this thing. So that's the stabilized mods doing some good work, and the projectiles are not hit scan, but if you can hit, then ooh, they'll hit hard. So this one might be more VATS based rather than VAFS based. So we'll just have to monitor that, because even with VAFs, you're still shooting, but everything's in slow motion. Normally it makes stuff easy to hit, but when your projectiles are also unenhanced, or you've got that movement penalty, or just their slowness, their non-hit scan, this makes targets much harder to hit. And yeah, like, there's no bloody way I'm going to be hitting that little mantis over there, so I'll let them sort that out. We'll look at these other revolvers. This one's got the big explosive round in it. Sorry, this is just the big fat projectile. The explosive round is this one. That's just a standard legendary explosion there, but I think it'll do the job. I don't know, when I think of Gyrojets, I think of Mr. Torg, and I think Torg as, hey, look, it's an explosive little Gyrojet, but no. I am mistaken, it would seem. Anyways, so let's begin, and what we'll do is we'll go on the biggest gun foo streak you're ever gonna see. Yes, even those guys back there. Let's hit it. Oh, I've got no crits. Well, that's no good. And after all of that, still no criticals. That's fine. We can make this work. We're gonna roll the dice on roughies, and then we're gonna get it eventually. Maybe we'll go back to this one. Just check out how long this projectile takes to get there. I think this is like sub-plasma rifle speed, which, you know, for rifles makes it difficult to use as a rifle, but yeah, we're getting slower than that, which is not super good. Also, we're gonna have to get nice and close for this thing to do its full measure of damage, so let's do that. Yes, the DPS, very high. Mag capacity, not so much. So let's try to make some use out of this thing. Whoop, gotta leave the target. There we go. Alright, so now we've got crits going with a full swing of gunfu, so we should be able to shoot and kill everyone in the head in one shot, maybe. Maybe, unless we're slightly out of range. I didn't actually check this weapon's range stat. Usually for pistols, it's not that much of an issue because Gunslinger itself increases your weapon's effective range. Probably an unnecessary critical to utilize on that guy. I think we'll go over to our slow projectile one. There we go. Get some actual power. If I had a big gunfu streak with this thing, I think we would have been taking off heads left and right. And I don't think so, buddy. You can actually see this projectile in slow motion. I think, like, psychologically, that'd be pretty scary. Hang on, I can fly. What am I doing? It'd be pretty scary watching that projectile find its way onto you. So we're like fighting psychological warfare. We're demoralizing them. I mean, shooting at the invincible, scary person in the Enclave armor is probably demoralizing enough. And there we go. Gunfu is sufficiently charged up. We're getting a crit every shot. So let's try to capitalize on this if we can. As I waste all of my AP on jetpacking. I think we ran out of gunners to shoot. So this thing has cut through them pretty easy. Could you imagine if I had a proper 5 crits ready to go? That first pod would have been vaporized in just a second, basically. So this is one of those weapons that I think would be highly rewarding to utilize in a VAT-centric build because, well, the margin for error, at least for me, is far too much. Being used to being spoiled with very easy to use weapons that are hit scan all the time. There's a bit of a learning curve, but I suppose you could argue you could just get good at the game and then this weapon will be quite fine. But the damage I think here and the amount of skill input that's involved with this is actually making this quite a satisfying weapon to use. Granted, there's no tension because I think this armor is just absorbing everything they can throw at me. In fact, it's so low that the combat music is turned off. So let's grab our explosive Gyrojets. This one should be even better on its AP usage. And that added crowd control. Is that a laser RCW? I think it is, you know. Yes, the added crowd control benefits very, very helpful. Unfortunately, we can't carry gunfu into this. At least I don't think you can stay in VAFs and the thing at the same time. Very good. Not having to pull the hammer back between shots allows you for some crazy DPS, but that's a moment right there where having absolutely no limit on how fast you can fire this thing gives you a massive advantage if the game time is going to be slower because, you know, adjust that for real time and we're firing at like, I don't know, maybe that's 800 rounds per minute. So that's kind of scary. And there's some ghouls over here. You know what? I'm just going to leave them alone. Let's take on something a little bit bigger. And if I'm lucky, Swan won't spawn with a bunch of rust devils around him like he usually does. Looks like that's not the case. Anyways, let's try to get some projectiles over there. Is that me hitting for about 800? That's pretty good. Too bad it's like 2 weeks plus posting for them to actually get there. A fortnight, if you will. Let's keep on rolling with this. Hang on, whilst I'm here, I'm gonna just check this. So the range is pretty standard actually, so nothing really to complain about there. Maybe me not being able to hit anything with this thing is proving to be the reason why it's not feeling as strong. Alright, now is time to use VATs, and at this stage we should be able to get many crits back, and if we are to have any in hand, let's use them, because 1600 damage ain't nothing. I'm probably going to run out as soon as he hits us. Yeah, typical. Yeah, thanks, Todd. We'll just go over here now. And VAFs away. Good DPS right there. And Mysterious Stranger, if you please. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting it to be this efficient on VAT's AP, but maybe that's just the niche they decided to do it. Whether that was intended or not, I don't think is too much of a problem, but it is nice that you can sort of, this weapon you could like call it like a comfort food or something, because it's a very simple weapon, a simple concept, but it's executed very well. And, you know, on the mod pages, they've actually said this is a very old mod. I don't exactly know how far this one is going back, but I am glad that it's seen the light of day, because, you know what? I'm having a great time with this thing. This thing kicks ass. It's really fun. So let's move on to the next monster. Okay, the plan here is to hit all of these guys, at least 3 of them. I don't care if I actually get the kill. I'm gonna go for mega roughies, and then the rest of it full firepower in his brain. If we happen to get lucky and get stuff, then that's great, but nope. And past the reload animation giving us a slight pause, I think we're in good shape here. We might be able to save these bugs from the Wendigo himself. The powered armor coming in most handy here. Let's keep it up. Bring the rain. There we go. All right. You've been saved today, insects. Now, are you going to be grateful, or are you going to start shooting maggots at me? Yeah, you better run. There it is. Okay, finally got there in the end. Took a couple of shots. I guess it's kind of cool watching the projectiles track down their targets. I mean, not really from close range, but if you can nail a super long range shot, I'm going to try. We'll try to at least lead the targets properly a little bit more. Nope, he's completely stopped. He's hit the air brakes. The trouble is we can't bloody hit the spinny little bastard. Which I suppose is the only weakness, but once they get close, hitting them should be fairly easy, but yeah, long range, no go. Medium range, if you're lucky or if you're really good, but long range, you can do much better with sniper rifles, for example. That's a pretty easy one. That's a no-brainer. Curious to see how much damage we can do with proper sneak criticals on the heaviest hitting projectile. So there's the lobster man down there, and we might have to wait for him to be facing us to actually do this. But projectedly speaking, that says we're going to be able to kill this thing. That's 3,000. One crit, please. 4,000. Not one miss. Hit the ground. One crit. And my goodness, he's almost dead already. And now is the time where we spam on the trigger and float above him. It's like the jetpack meta in Fortnite as of recently. Unfortunately, it's going to eat my AP too fast, so I won't be able to do too much in terms of damage to him. So maybe we'll go over to our explosive one so I can hit him with that. Yes. Do this without getting hit. That would be pretty good. Don't want to dint the armor too much. What I could do is wait for all of my AP to come back, enter VAFs, and then add some cinematic criticals in the mix. I think executing criticals gives me a bit of AP back for some reason. So maybe I should do that. I'm back down to Earth, and that was it. With no help from the mysterious stranger. Okay, so that was it. I think you get the point for this thing. So that there was a heavy Gyrojet Revolver, a weapon that is very simple in design, but manages to be as fun as the more complex and, I suppose, complicated ones, which are apples and oranges or tomato, but yeah, I really enjoyed using this thing, and, well, if you want a decently powerful endgame solution for a gunslinger build, then look no further than this thing. Are we moving faster than usual? I feel like we're running super fast. I think I broke something. Never mind. Yeah, so if you are interested in seeing this thing in your game, check out link in the description. It's a pretty lightweight mod, and we are running much faster than usual. Oh well, maybe we're just fitter by the end of the day. Who cares? Yeah, but There should be a Xbox port on this thing because it doesn't take up a whole lot of space on your hard drive, so you could argue that it'd be a pretty good weapon mod. Space efficiency wise, this is the most irradiated part of the wasteland, by the way. Not the glowing sea, this place. I've got no idea why. Any Fallout lore YouTubers have any theories on that? Because that's kind of interesting, but yeah, go ahead and check it out. Does it work with classic holstered weapons? Yes, you can barely see it under the little marine ammo pouch thingy, but it is definitely there. So if you are interested in seeing this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description. It'll be down there. Thanks for watching. Bye.